Today in the studio, we're joined by a member of the indie pop band Similar Kind. Similar Kind formed in Norwalk in 2017 and has since exploded on the regional music scene. The band has been featured on PBS, has headlined Norwalk's Halloween Night Fair, and has an active tour schedule. We're fortunate to have Julia Breen with us today. To begin, what's your role in the group?
I'm the lead singer.
Excellent. How did the band form?
It formed we all knew each other from different musical projects. So, I was in a different band, and then our guitarist Ben was working on our demo because he was recording music. So he basically, once his band kind of disbanded, it was the start of my senior year of high school, and he said, I'm looking for a band. Would you be interested in joining? And I was like, are there anyone else involved? And he was like, no, not really, I don't know. So then we kind of started, and then with our drummer Miles, who he knew through it was kind of a School of Rock type thing. So then it was the three of us and then a couple other people. But then we kind of met our keyboardist and our bassist along the way of playing shows with them or hearing about other musicians within the scene. And then once the bassist and keyboardist positions needed filling, we were it was very easy to be like, oh yeah, that guy was really good, or yeah. Sure. So it kind of formed over time just throughout knowing people within the music scene.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. What are some of your musical influences?
It's honestly super different among all of us. Great. And but I think a lot of it would be definitely some 80s type stuff. We all really are big fans of Michael Jackson and listen to him a lot. But definitely, I think that's something that I really like about us is that we all have really different music tastes. So our drummer, for example, is a huge Rush fan. And not to say that we sound like Rush drumming, but you gotta tell. It's not, once you can see that. I don't know, I kind of love a lot of I love disco, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of just different influences put together, which I appreciate. I don't know, I think it's cool.
That adds a lot, I think, to the group. When you have all these different components sort of thrown into the mix, it really makes for a great sound.
Thank you.
Similar Kind, it's a great name. Where did it come from?
It came from one of our previous members was watching Dexter. Mm-hmm. Late at night, one night, and he said, one of the people on the show said, we're a similar kind of something. And I don't remember what the exact quote was, but, and he called Ben, our guitarist, at 3 a.m. and was like, similar kind, we gotta pick Similar Kind. And this was actually when they were just doing it as a duo. Yeah. So it was way, way back. But we also, we feel like it fits now because it's, similar, but we're all similar, but also different coming again. I don't know. Yeah.
Inclusive.
100%. Yeah.
That's wonderful. For anyone who isn't yet familiar with Similar Kind, describe your approach to music.
Like the songwriting approach,
sure.
You're saying?
Songwriting, performing, everything.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like the main approach for us is that we want, the general main approach would be that we want it to be, the best we can make it, but also still having fun with it,
right.
And in a professional sense of fun, but trying to not forget that we're doing music at the end of the day, and the reason we are doing music isn't because we're being forced to. It's because we really want to and we love it. So trying to keep that in mind is the general approach, and then I think in the both songwriting and performance approach, just trying to keep it super collaborative. It's sure. Definitely not backed or written or pushed by one person. It's all a very, very collaborative process.
So in terms of, for example, the lyrics, it's not necessarily one band member in particular. It could be that one song is written by the entire group, or the next song the lyrics are written by one particular member. How does it work out there? I
feel like it's more like a well, especially with songwriting, it's a kind of everyone kind of writes their own thing, but not. Sure. It's not strictly it's not rigid to that. Right, so, right. Usually I'm doing lyrics and melody, but there are many times where someone will have a melody idea and then that will be used, or like there have been past songs where the keyboardist that isn't in the band now, he wrote a bunch of the lyrics, like, or he wrote the lyrics for. But yeah, and it's a lot of too, like, our song Face to Face, for example, our bassist wrote the guitar part, and so he's playing the guitar part on the record. And then even live for a while, they would switch, and the guitarist would play it on bass, and he would play it on guitar. So yeah, definitely, like, everyone contributes to these things, but yeah, it's very, it's not, there's roles and there's things that we're all better at, individually, but at the same time, there's like not any rules as to how, as to who can do what.
I understand there was a turning point of sorts when Similar Kind really started to build an audience. How did that happen?
Well, it was in 2020 we put out our song, Nobody Loves You, I think it was like right at the beginning of the pandemic around, and it was doing good numbers, but nothing totally new. And then one night we were in the studio recording like somewhat of an acoustic version for it that we actually never put out.
It's not too late.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. But we made a TikTok about it, and that was like right in the kind of, not beginning of TikTok, but like when it started getting really popular and not among like just kids anymore, really. And it was such a good moment for bands because you could just, post anything as a band and so many people would see it. Like the algorithm really was, I don't know, there was magic in the air for it. And it wasn't just we got really good numbers on this video, this silly video we posted. All those numbers went to our Spotify. So then that really boosted us on Spotify, and then that helped us get managers and an agent and, really start to be able to tour. So that really changed everything. Yeah, one silly post.
Speaking of touring and booking venues, how do you go about doing that? How did that all begin? Do you do it on your own? Does the manager book the tour for you?
So now, luckily, our agent does it for us, which is really awesome.
It's a difference, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But then in the beginning, it was, we would just cold reach out to places and have a lot of no's and a lot of not responding and stuff. So it was definitely a grind at first, but it was kind of fun. Like the first summer we were a band, we would book our own little shows at like at a at this bar in Rochester or whatever. It was like all these random places, and we'd be driving in one of our own cars, and that was super fun. And I always tell bands, like when they're asking about booking shows and stuff, I'm always like, if they're newer, I'm always like, do that, because that is so much fun and it's like so much valuable experience.
Did you fit the entire band and all the equipment in one car?
Oh yes, it was terrible. It was so awful.
All the way to Rochester.
Yeah. No, that was rough actually. When we got a speeding ticket as well, it was when we got the speeding ticket, our drummer had a mustache drawn on his face. It was really chaotic, but it was so much fun. Yeah.
Similar Kind has some great music videos. Now, you talked about the process a little bit of songwriting. Mm-hmm. What's the process of making music videos like?
Honestly, with everything that has nothing to do with like the music aspect of it, we're really blessed to have so many awesome friends that are really good at art. And so for like a lot of things like our cover art or our t-shirts or whatever, we'll go to our, like a few friends of ours and we'll just say, we need something for this, and they'll just produce it, and it's so cool. So it's kind of like that with the music videos a lot. We'll hand it over to different people sometimes, and sometimes it's more backed by us. But most of the time, our main guy is Guzman Gonzalez. He's like family to us. He's definitely part of our circle, and he's done most of our music videos, or at least has a part in all of our music videos, and he's really awesome. So we're just really blessed to have like other creatives that really know what they're doing when they come to music videos.
For sure. Mm-hmm. In your experience, is there sort of a secret to success as a band?
Ooh, I mean, I think I'd have to be much more successful to answer that question fully.
But so far.
But I feel like, honestly, a lot of it is, I think, working really hard on it, but trying not to get lost in it. And in the same way of what I was saying before of, remembering like it is such an incredible privilege to be doing music, to even be pursuing music in the first place, and to like have the time and abilities, and it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. Like we want to make art, and we're making art. So I think just to put as much work as you can into that, but being really mindful of that and grateful for that. I don't know, yeah.
Great, great. Based on what you've learned, what advice would you give to a newly formed band?
I would say my first step, I guess I would say, is go to as many shows near you as possible. Because it's always so good to just meet all the musicians in your area, and you can watch people play and get inspired by that and everything. And then just, trying to, at least, even if you're like a solo act, getting some sort of group together, like getting, not saying that you have to form a band, but like a group of people to hold each other accountable. Because I think being fully pushed just by only yourself, it's easy to lose it or to get too caught up in it. So having a group of people that at least listens or helps in some way, a community of like artists or whatever, and then just playing as much as possible, whether it start out at open mic nights or bars or wherever you can go. Just like getting that playing experience is so valuable. But yeah, that's what I'd say. Like, and definitely like really invest in your community, because that's where it completely is. Yeah.
Finally, what's next? What's on the horizon for the group?
So we're finally putting out a full album, which is really exciting.
Excellent.
We took the past 2 years to write it, and we recorded it in August for like a week straight at a studio up in, I think it was Bloomfield, Connecticut. And it's gonna come out around the spring, like late spring, early summer. So we're doing all the back end stuff of that now. But yeah, that's the big exciting thing that's next.
That's incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And on your continued success.
Thank you.
Julia, thank you so much for joining us today on The Sofa. I do hope you come back and visit sometime.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you
Great.
so much.
You can find tour dates on Similar Kind's website. Also, be sure to check out the group's YouTube and other social media sites.